Oh wow. Yes. No way. Oh my god.
Very subtle.
Unbelievable. Oh. And he missed it. Oh my god. Ooh la la.
Boom. No chance.
That's crazy. Game, set, and match.
This is too much.
Hi everyone, I'm excited to be back after the Australian Open. It's the first time I'm live again on Twitch to talk about and to watch together the match between Gaël Monfils and Felix Auger-Aliassime in this tournament, Indian Wells, that is one of the best, if not the best, the Masters 1000 of the year. For many people, it's the best one for several reasons, for this incredible stadium, for the particular atmosphere that you can find there, and of course for the fact that all the best players in the world are competing. So making a result here means a lot. A few things happened just before this match. First of all, Lorenzo Musetti lost, which is a big surprise. He lost against Marton Fucsovics in 2 straight sets, which is really, really surprising. And at the moment, Ben Shelton is struggling. 1-all against Opelka, and he's really, when I say he's suffering, he looks extremely sick. He just got treatment. But I don't remember having seen him with this face, looking like he's really, really struggling. Never an easy match against the American giant, but of course being sick makes it even more difficult. So let's just dive into that match, because it's going to start very soon between Gaël Monfils and Felix Auger-Aliassime. So let's talk about Gaël first. It's his last year on tour. He's 39 years old. He dropped a lot in the rankings. His ranking is 148. And the start of the season was not great for him. Let's look at it together. He lost in the first round in Auckland, in the first round at the Australian Open, second round in Acapulco, and he won 1 round here. So it's tough for him at the moment. On the other hand, we have exactly the opposite profile, someone who did struggle, Felix, the last 2 years. And since the last US Open, he's back at his best level. Very good start of the season. First of all, let me see what he did first. He started the season really well. Won a title in Montpellier, final in Rotterdam. That he lost against Alex de Minaur. And then semifinals in Dubai lost against Daniil Medvedev. So a very good start of the season for him. A lot of matches won, and it confirms his great form, which is back. What about this match? So probably Felix's game is quite. We know exactly what he's going to do. He's based on a very good first serve, very, very good. He's super athletic. He's very fast. He's running around his backhand really fast and dictates with his forehand, hitting the ball very hard. With a lot of spin, so he doesn't miss much with his forehand. His backhand is weaker. He started to slice it also, to mix the game. And when he's confident, he goes more with his backhand, goes down the line, refuses to stay in that backhand corner too long. But he moves so fast around the backhand that he's able, even when players are hitting good shots to his backhand, to run around and be aggressive with his forehand. Gaël is a player that has always been in between aggressive and passive throughout his career, because he's always been so good in defense that a lot of times he was okay, and he was winning so many matches being not as aggressive as what he could do. But I think at this stage of his career, he has to be more aggressive. He has to take more risks. He has to do more. Especially when he plays those guys that at that level. Felix is top 10 in the world. He can't afford to be passive, otherwise he has no chance. But what we love with him is that he's going to do the show, and he always does the show, and for sure today he will, as always, do the show. The current ranking of Felix is number 9 in the world, and the match starts right now between Shelton and Opelka. 3-2 for Shelton, no break still. And as we are starting the match, we can have a look at the team who worked on the data, who will give us a bit key areas that we'll have to look through. Oh, very nice color. So we start with knowing how Gaël is going to be able to return and find a way to win games and break Felix, which is one of the most difficult things to do at the moment, because Felix has won 94% of his service games in the last 13 matches. That's a huge number. He has won 83% of the points after his first serve. That's his number one, probably his number one quality, serve and then run around and win the point with his forehand, or forehand and go to the net to finish up. And he has been great because he's confident at the moment. He has been great on the key moments and on the pressure moments. And he saved 72% of the break points that he faced, which is also a huge number. We're, of course, talking about the last 13 matches he's played. Now about Gaël, and the question is, can he rediscover his form on serve? If we compare with Felix, Gaël has won only 76% of his service games since the Australian Open. So 5% less. He's winning 5% less on both first and second serve compared to 2025. And the key difference is that he's winning 6% less of the points between 0 and 4 points. 0 and 4 shots, on his serve. And 16% less when the rally goes past 9 shots. Of course, his age plays a role in that, but that's why it's so important for him to be efficient when it comes to the first 3-4 shots. And I was saying he needs to be offensive. If he's too passive, then the rallies are going to last, or he's going to be in defense, and then it's going to be tough. Let's talk about the forehands of both players, which is the shot that they're using to dictate. Of course, as I said, Felix' forehand is amazing. That's one of the best forehands on tour. Gaël's forehand is a good shot too, but he's always been missing more than with his backhand. Now, if we dive into the report, Monfils' forehand line has been a key weapon so far this year, and this will be a key shot to get into Felix' less impactful backhand. So the forehand down the line for Gaël is going to be a key. Felix will be looking to get into his forehand from the outside, so running around the backhand as much as he can. And is great with his forehand, whether it's inside in or inside out, but this we said already. And both have been hitting their forehands at 128 kilometers per hour, but Felix's forehand is, the ball is turning way more, 3,100 RPM compared to 2,600 RPM for Gaël, which means that the forehand of Felix is more powerful because it's not only pace, it's the same pace, but with a ball that turns way more. So bouncing way more, accelerating once touching the ground, way more, jumping way more. So, yeah, I think Felix's forehand is a bit superior to Gaël's forehand. 1-0 for Gaël, who's been able to win his service game. And we're already in the configuration that we expected. Backhand of Gaël to backhand of Felix, who finds a way to run around his backhand and hit forehands and dictating. And Gaël, for the moment, a bit defensive, because when Felix takes his forehand, one thing you know, you're going to run. And while we're talking, Shelton has been able to break Opelka and is 4-2 up in the third, which is a good news for him, because, of course, it's a very important tournament for everyone, but for a player of his level, he needs to perform here. And he was really in trouble, losing the first set, then tiebreak in the second, 4-all in the tiebreak. He was really close to a potential exit because of his sickness and the quality, of course, of the match that Opelka is playing. But he found resources. He found also medicine with the doctor, and it looks like he's better. Apocalypse Chat, good to see you again. To talk to you again. Good evening. I'm well, and thank you for being on the chat and with us tonight. As I said, we're excited to share that moment with you. And I would like to go through a little bit also while the match is starting, what we're going to look at during this Indian Wells, because it's, as I said, it's a very, very important tournament. We're going to look at a few guys. I mean, we're not going to look at everyone for sure, but a few guys that we want to follow. We want to follow Arthur Fils. Why? Because he's a very exciting player. He's been out for so long, and when he came back strong, very strong. Played the final of Doha. Yeah, I was about to say Dubai, but I knew it was not Dubai because it's Dubai was Medvedev who won. Yeah, Doha lost to Alcaraz, but played a great tournament, so he came back really strong, and we want to see if he's able to continue playing the same level, because if so, and he's a young player, he's a player that we're following because he's a potential top 5 in the world, and actually he's playing at the moment, and he's 6-2, 3-2 up against a qualifier, Prismic, sorry. So that's what the first player we're going to follow. I want to see how he's doing. Just a few words about the winner of this match. Will play, I'm talking about the match between Monfils and Auger-Aliassime. We'll play the winner of Rublev and Diallo in the second round. So that's tough. And potentially to play Fils or Fucsovics in the fourth round. Just to tell you how strong this tournament is. Who else are we going to follow? I want to follow Tien, because I think he's one of the most exciting young player, coming up. We've talked a lot about Fonseca, who's great too, by the way, but nobody really speaks about Tien much, and I think he's really impressive. He impressed me once again at the Australian Open, beating Medvedev, playing a level that was unreal, and losing in a very good match against Zverev. And while I'm talking, Gaël Monfils has his first break point already in the first service game of Felix Auger-Aliassime, who made a few unforced errors, especially with his forehand, which is quite unusual. The other one I want to follow is Mensik, another very young player and another super potential, who's also been playing well at the start of the season. He won Auckland, and he played well in Doha as well. He lost actually to Arthur Fils. Was it? Yeah, in Doha, but after beating Yannick Sinner. So it's someone we really want to follow, continue to follow, because we're following him already. We're going to follow Fonseca, as I just said, another player that he had a lot of press. We talked a lot about Fonseca. He has an immense pressure on the shoulders, but he's playing amazing, and he's struggling. He has a lot of ups and downs. He has moments he wins big tournaments. He wins 250, then he won his first 500 at the end of last year. But then for 3 months he can lose first, second round quite a lot of times in a row. So, but I think it's because of the pressure he has on the shoulders, because all Brazil has their eyes on him, and he probably feels that pressure. He played in Brazil, the Rio Open, a few weeks ago, and unfortunately lost very early. I think it was in the first round, but I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't remember if it's first or second. I'm going to check straight away. Rio Open, it was in the second round. He lost to Ignacio Buse. Fils just qualified because Prismic retired. So he's in the second round, Arthur Fils, and he's going to play against Fucsovics, who beat Musetti. Gaël just made a beautiful jumping forehand. I don't know if the chat is working, because I see only one person who did write something, and that's it, which is a bit surprising considering there is 1,100 people on the chat. I'm saying this for my team, so they have a look at it. We're going to check Sinner. Because he's going through, it's not a big crisis. Some people have said this. I think it's very much exaggerated, but he didn't make the results that he's used to make. And especially when he lost in Doha. Let's look at the start of his season together. But there is, very little crisis, but still it's something. He lost to Novak, as we all know, in the semis of the Australian Open, and then lost in Qatar to Mensik in the third round. So for him, his standards, it's very surprising because he's usually, when he plays a tournament, he wins it or is in the final. So that's quite unusual. And we're going to see how he feels here, if he's able to come back to his best level. His explanation, especially about this loss against Mensik, was that he was trying to mix up the game too much and that he lost. And actually, I kind of agree with him. And that's always the danger with players like him who's taking the ball. Sorry, but I just saw the Apocalypse chat saying that Shelton just face planted the floor. But I see him serving 5-3, 30 all, serving for the match actually. Cédric Roquette Tennis is asking, it's interesting what he says. Fils lost 6 kilos. Can that change from the player he was to a regular top 10? Listen, that's definitely a key for him. I think he was very muscular, a bit like Shelton, who's super muscular, and as we all know, muscles are very heavy, and in tennis you need to move very fast. So I think in a way it's a burden. People think, oh yeah, it's great to have big muscles. No, not for tennis. You need to move extremely fast from side to side. You need to react very fast, and take a backpack with 1 kilo and try to play, and you'll see the difference. It's huge. So if he lost 6 kilos, I think it's a great news for him. That's the best thing that could happen to him. Of course, he did it on purpose, so congratulations to him for doing the job. And I think, he can be top 10 for sure. He can even be top 5 for sure. He has huge qualities, this player. Incredible physical assets. Who's the best player with big muscles? Probably Carlos Alcaraz, but they're not that big, They're big, but I think his weight is really much under control. But I would say Carlos probably. Hello, let's line live. Welcome to the chat. I was talking about Sinner. So we have to follow him. We're going to follow next round. I mean, we have an amazing match tomorrow, which is going to be Alcaraz against Dimitrov. Dimitrov, of course, is not back to his best level. We all remember the injury that he had against Sinner at Wimbledon. He was dominating the match, really dominating, and suddenly his pec broke. And he had to stop the match, of course, and he got a surgery, and it took long to come back. He came back in Paris, in Bercy, which is not in Bercy anymore, by the way. I shouldn't say Bercy, but Paris Masters 1000. He played one match, he won it, and then he stopped. So the start of the season is not that easy. He lost early at the Australian Open. I'm taking his... everybody still says Bercy, but it's not Bercy. He lost in the second round in Brisbane. He lost in the first round in Melbourne, but he had a very tough first round. He played against Mahach. He played in the first round. He lost in the first round in Dallas against Mikkelsen. In the first round in Acapulco against Atman. So really tough for him to come back. But he beat Atman here. He played Atman again in the first round here, and he won. So, but the match between those two is super exciting anyway, even though it's not the best Dimitrov yet. Oh, Lesline, thank you for taking, how do you say, an abonnement? French, I have it in French. Subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, we love both Alcaraz and Dimitrov. Thank you, Lesline. Live, I really appreciate. What else we're going to follow Novak. Why we're going to follow Novak? Because he played the final of the Australian Open, and since the Australian Open, he didn't play, and we want to see Shelton just won, by the way. He didn't play one match, so that will be his first match since the Australian Open. He impressed us, we have to say it, in Melbourne. Not every match, but his match against Sinner in the semis was something. So we want to see if he's able to continue to play at the same level, and second, if he's interested to play at the same level when it's not a Grand Slam, because last year those tournaments he didn't play really seriously. If I look at his season last year, played the semis in Melbourne, lost in the first round in Doha, first round in Indian Wells. Actually, technically second round, but he had a bye, so first match. Miami played the final, but then lost in the first round in Monte Carlo, first round in Madrid. And then he went to Geneva just before a Grand Slam to get ready. He won it. Then semis in Paris, semis in Wimbledon, and semis at the US Open. And the only tournament, So the Masters 1000 was not really something that he was interested in last year. I hope this year he will be. And I hope that the fact that he played so well in Melbourne will pump him up, so he really wants to play seriously. Maybe not many tournaments, but the ones he play them to win, because we want to see him play again against Sinner and Alcaraz. That's so fun when he really at his best, because there is a match, and when he really wants to win, he has a chance. We're gonna follow Cerundolo because he won a tournament on clay. I think he's an amazing player. I'm always impressed by him. Where is my... Okay. Cerundolo is an amazing player. He wanted to win so badly at home on clay. He played the final last year and he was so disappointed he lost. And this year he won in Buenos Aires. He beat Darderi in final. I think he's an amazing player, and I would be very curious to see if the confidence that brought this title is gonna be able to transfer that confidence on hard courts. Because if he does, it's gonna be very dangerous. We're gonna follow Draper. Same reason, another guy that was injured, another young guy injured. And while I'm saying this, I realized how much young guys are injured and players are injured in general, and bad injuries and long injuries. That was the case for Draper, who was out of the court for so long. Also, he had an arm injury and his back. And he's such a good player too. We want to see those guys playing at their level, but for that they have to be able to play for without being interrupted for 6 months. And Jack Draper has been so much injured since the start of his career. That's ridiculous. And still he was top 10. He's out of the top 10 now. He's 14, but he was top 10 playing, so good. And he won, which was the Masters 1000. It was Madrid? No, it was Indian Wells. He won Indian Wells last year. He has a lot to defend here. But more than anything, I want to follow him to see his development back to the top of his level. That's what I want to see. And finally, Medvedev also, because Medvedev, another player who was not injured but struggled also, and I feel that slowly but surely he's coming back to his best level. He won without playing the final, but he was in the final in Dubai and he won it. He played way better. He had this tough match against Tien at the Australian Open, but the start of the season he won Brisbane, and then he won Dubai. He had a few losses. He lost to Stefanos Tsitsipas in the second round in Doha and first round in Rotterdam. So he's not as he was before, being able to perform every single week. But he's back to a very good level. He's number 11 in the world, so we want to. It's a good tournament for him, I think. So let's see how he plays here. We're gonna follow him. It's gonna be interesting to see how he does. If I look at the score now, 3-2 for Gaël Monfils. Shelton finally found a way to make it through this match. That was very difficult because he was feeling so bad. Oh, Brooksby. So, Sopilif, welcome to the chat. Tony Chocolo Nelly, welcome to the chat too. Good evening. It's midnight, past midnight. It's half an hour past midnight already in France, yes. What do I think about Brooksby against Tiafoe? I think it's going to be an amazing match. First of all, you have two Americans in the US. It's going to be a great match, for sure. And those two guys are going to fight from the baseline. It's going to be amazing. Amazing. And I think that Brooksby is one of the guys that we don't talk about so much, but I think he's really dangerous all the time for everybody. Actually, the match Brooksby against Tiafoe is starting on Stadium 2 for those who want to watch. And for the moment, Gaël Monfils is playing his match 3-all. He's playing a good match, which is half surprising because even though, and I said it, he had a very, very difficult start of the season this year. I have to say too that when he's in a big stadium with a big match, with crowd, with a big player in front of him, he's such a showman. He will perform. He will play way over his level. Not that he cannot play at that level, but I mean his level of the moment. That's what I mean. And he's creating a lot. Oh wow, that's amazing what he just did. Crazy. Serve out wide, and then half volley from the baseline down the line, followed the net, and did an incredible drop shot volley cross court. The Monfils show is on. And when the Monfils show is on and is pumped, it's tough to play. Even though he will give you points, because he will. He's going to be up and down. Still, his high level will be very high. How long do I think Monfils will play on for? He's 39. Yeah, he's competing well, but he said it. He said it's his last season. So we have two guys who are going to retire this year, two guys we love to watch, and we have loved to watch for such a long time. Gaël Monfils and Stan Wawrinka. Gaël is playing well. Again, a great backhand down the line, which when you play against someone like Felix, it's a key shot because, as I said, is always looking to run around his backhand. So in a way, there is a spot down the line because he's positioning himself very much to the left in order to be able to run around. So if you're able to hit him down the line, it's a key shot because first you're going to hit winners, and second, you're going to prevent him from, being as fast as usual running around his backhand, and he needs to because that's his game, that's his style. Brooksby, Tiafoe starting. Fils beat Prismic, as I said. Prismic, sorry. Let's look at the women because Coco Gauff is playing also at the moment. She won the first set 6-3 against Rakimova. Potapova 6-5 against Paolini, another player that is struggling at the moment, Paolini. And Joint won the first set 6-love against Romanian Christian. Yeah, for Coco, it will be very important for her to start to solve her double fault problem, which makes the matches so difficult for her because she's not fighting only against the opponent, she's also fighting against her serve. First set, she only hit 4, so that's not too bad. And a high percentage of first serve, that probably helped also. Good for her. Oh, we have a statistic, so let's have a look at it. It's a confirmation of what we said before the match, that the forehand average spin of Felix Auger-Aliassime is way higher than Gaël, so 3,400 RPM compared to 2,500. because Felix is someone who hits the ball super hard, but with spin. So the ball turns really fast. And something that is surprising is the speed of the forehand of Felix, which is way faster than Gaël. And when we started the match, we said that average they were equal in terms of speed. 140 kilometers per hour for Felix, 116 only for Gaël. That's a big difference. And if I look at what we said before the match, we said that they were hitting both of them at 128 kilometers per hour. So that says that Gaël is not hitting as hard as usual, and Felix is hitting way faster his forehand than usual. So he probably feels that Gaël, being such a good mover, he needs to push way more than usual. So Tony Chocolonelli is saying, will you also be for the big European tournaments, maybe also nicer for you to watch in the day instead of in the night? I agree with you. Or would you rather stand on the court during the day? Well, no, I'm going to do at least one per day for sure. Not the whole day, but one per day. I need to be on the court as well. And is it better to sleep at night than come and be with you guys? I made my choice. I'm with you, so I think it's cool to be with you, and I would probably watch some matches anyway, even though I wouldn't do that. So that's the problem with the time difference. And when I was on tour, I didn't have that problem because I was always on the right time zone because I was there. When you're not, you're suffering a bit more. So because you have a night, you have a day where you're working, and you have a night when you're watching the matches. Yeah, we were talking about the fact that Gaël said it was his last year. We're going to miss him for sure. And so far, both of the players are very dominant on their service games. 4-3 for Gaël, 30 love for Felix. Gaël is returning really well, so he doesn't have an aggressive return, but he blocks the ball extremely well. So for the guys who serve is a key element in their game, it has always been a problem for them because Gaël is putting the ball back really well. So a lot of balls come back, which is not the case the rest of the year for most of them. So that's why that's one of the reasons why Gaël is so tough to play. Hamburgini, that's an interesting nickname. Welcome to the chat. It's your first time, and I'm happy to talk to you live as well. So far, Gaël is missing a little bit the passing shots, and it's I would say that it's a bit an evolution of Felix in his game. I feel that he's coming to the net way more than he used to, which makes a lot of sense because he has such big weapons, and most of the time he would come to the net just to finish up the points rather than to have to play another shot and another shot. An ace for him to close that game. Let me see some statistics about that match. Yes, Tony, I would be under my blanket watching some tennis. Definitely, even though I would not be on Twitch with you guys. Yeah, 6 aces for Felix already. 4 for Gaël. Gaël has a very high percentage of first serve, which is extremely important in a match like this one. But if I look at his stats, he's also winning a lot of points on his second serve. And Brooksby and Tiafoe are entering the court at the moment. We're going to follow Bublik too. I was watching the draw, and he's really given a different course to his career. He was about last year to give up, literally give up. Why not stop his career? He was struggling. And then he had one great result. And since that day, last year he was the only player who beat Sinner besides Alcaraz. Made so many good results. Started the year amazingly well. He's top 10 now. And he's another real showman, so we'll be very excited to watch him play and follow him. That's a good passing shot from Gaël. Yeah. When you play Gaël, your volleys should be very, very offensive. The volley of Felix was a bit slow, and then for sure you're going to get past on the next shot. Another ace for Gaël, 5-4. He plays probably 10 times better than what he's been playing since the start of this year. But as Gaël, you know, big moments, big matches, big crowds. The guy jumps out of the box and is able to play a level that he hasn't been able to play for weeks. That's really amazing. And I feel some tension from Felix. As I said, I didn't say it, by the way, but I focus a little bit more on the match lately, and in the rally, he's missing more than usual with his forehand. He's probably trying to do maybe a bit too much. And I can feel a little bit of doubt, not because of his results, because his results are amazing, but more because he's playing Gaël, and it's never easy. And actually, head-to-head, it's 1-all. So I got a question from Avi Mismus. Welcome to the chat. It's your first time. What do I think about Lily Tagger? How far can she go overall? Well, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I don't know this player, so I cannot tell you. What I can tell you is what I just checked, which is a ranking. She's 119 in the world. She's from Austria, but she's only 18 years old, and she was playing challengers before that. She won Roland Garros Juniors last year. She's 100 backhand, but I've never seen her play, so I cannot make any comment. She's playing Sakkari in the next round, which she won. She won a first round beating Grasheva. So it's definitely someone to follow. But to tell you how far she can go, I need to see more about her. But the fact that she's won a Grand Slam in juniors, and especially Roland Garros, is a very good sign. And a woman who has a 100 backhand, it's extremely rare. Extremely rare. There are not so many. There was Mauresmo, of course. There was Justine Henin in the past. But now, at the moment, there is one, I think. Diane Paris. That's the one I was thinking of. Who beat Venus yesterday. 6-1 in the third. Yeah, so she has one on the backhand, and beautiful one, by the way. But it's very rare. Let's have a look at this game. Very important game. Yeah, another point that Felix comes to finish at the net with a very solid volley on a passing shot, very low under the net and very fast of Gaël. So that was a great shot. Great volleys from Felix. I can feel a little bit of tension for the Canadian player, but again, I understand. It's never easy. 40-15 and 2 opportunities for the Canadian to come back to 5-all in that first set. There is a match, because if you just look at the ranking, Gaël is out of the top 100 now. Felix is back to the top 10. If you look at the results of both of the players since January, you think, oh, wow. I mean, it's going to be nice to see some good shots of Gaël, but he's going to be killed. And no, not at all. There is a match. Even though the French guy is 39 years old, struggling to win 2 matches in a row. But again, put him there in a Masters 1000, in a Grand Slam, with a lot of people, in a big court. And Felix had beaten Wawrinka in Montpellier this year. So 2 guys, 40 or 39 and 40. How old is 41? Is 40? Stan? 40 or 41? Yeah, 2 kind of legends of the game. If he wins today, he's gonna have beaten 2 of those guys. He's 40. Yeah, Stan is 40 years old. 5-all, and the match at the same time. The match between Tiafoe and Brooksby is starting. I love to see Gaël that offensive. That's amazing the way he plays today. Sorry, I'm gonna finish the work. Sorry for that, but at least you didn't have the sound. Better. Yeah, I love to see Gaël like this. Both of the feet inside the court, dictating with his forehand, hitting the ball hard, moving his opponent. And he can do it also thanks to the quality of his first serve, who's really here today and with a very high percentage. Very, very high percentage of first serves. Yeah, 70%. Only 61 for Felix. But a big difference is... Oh, and again, a point finished at the net for Gaël. Beautiful tennis. Yeah, the difference is Gaël is winning 88% of points on his second serve, where Felix only 42. And the reason for that is that when you're able to block Felix on his backhand side, you have a good chance to be able to yourself run around and use your forehand, and then you can dictate. On first serve, on Felix's first serve, you know, and especially, I mean, most of the players, all they can do is block the ball, so the ball is floating a little bit, and it gives Felix a lot of time to run around, and he starts with a forehand, and he's dictating. So that's why there is so much difference in terms of points won after his first and his second serve. And I can tell you also that we're going to have a UTS in Nîmes once again very soon, start of April, just after Miami and just a few days before Monte Carlo. So it's going to be Nîmes in south of France. You remember this incredible arena that is more than 2,000 years old. The players played there. They felt like they were thrown back to 2,000 years before. They felt like gladiators. So we're going to go back there. The ticketing goes really well, so I'm sure it's going to be packed again. We have an incredible list of players who are going to play. And one of those players is Felix, and I think we might have him talk about it, right? I would be excited to listen to him talking about this because he's really looking forward. And while it's coming, I tell you just the players who are going to play. So it's starting in quarterfinals. We have Auger-Aliassime, Felix against Dimitrov. We have Rublev against Fokina, Ruud, Kachanov, and Bublik, Imbert. That's the 4 quarterfinals.
It's in Nîmes. That's incredible. Just incredible, the amount of people, 12,500 people watching tennis, showing support, showing love for tennis, and putting up, a beautiful atmosphere. So I remember seeing this image and being quite stunned, to be honest, and thinking, well, I would like to go, and play in front of all these people and experience it myself. I remember speaking with Imbert, also Monfils there, that French players that have played, and obviously the event being in France and people singing the national anthem. So, it was the talk of the locker room, kind of how this atmosphere was, and the players that weren't there asking questions and how was it really, and the atmosphere, and all the feedback from the players was it was really that it was stunning, and it was really something they've never experienced. So I think it just creates a speech in the locker room that you want to also experience this, and you want to encourage tennis like this.
Yes. That's going to be amazing. Every year, that's the second year we play there, but all the UTS are really special. This one was extra special. And I remember, the crowd is crazy. And they started to, because the two French guys were playing against each other, so they started to sing the national anthem, and the players had to stop playing, and they started to sing with the crowd. It was really special. And I remember also how the reaction of Ben Shelton when he entered that court for the first time. He was next to me and he said, "What the hell is that? I've never seen a tennis court like this in my life." Yeah, so Felix is going to play Grigor Dimitrov in the quarterfinals of UTS Nîmes. A bit lucky, this backhand down the line that hit the net and fell right behind from Gaël. And 30-all, 6-5 Monfils. Ooh. It is a great big serve, and it just served. Ooh, wow, Felix. Huge serve and huge forehand inside-out winner. This one went really fast, I can tell you. At 30-all, Yeah, that's the difference between the guys who are confident and the guys who are not. It's how they play the pressure point. 30-all is a big pressure point because if you lose the point, you have to face a break point. And when you're not confident, you're gonna hesitate, you're gonna miss, you're gonna lack intention. When you're confident, you go full and you don't have any doubt in your mind, and you're much better on those pressure points. And at the end of the match, that makes a big difference. 6-all, and we're gonna have a tiebreak, which is very exciting between Gaël and Felix. And Brooksby 1-0 and 2 break points against Tiafoe already. Good. Gaël went to the net on this one. Maybe check if the chat is working because he didn't move for quite a while. It looks like we have problems with the chat tonight. I like it because he came to the net to finish up the point on the backhand of Felix and push him to miss his passing shot down the line. 1-0 Gaël. And again, typical Felix. Great serve. One forehand inside out. Second forehand inside in. And game over. Insights in attack. I don't understand the statistics, what it means. What is insights in attack? Set 1, 25%. Okay. 1-all. It's going to be a second serve for Felix. Gaël really, really far. And Felix comes to the net and pushes Gaël to miss the passing shot. Both guys really take their responsibilities in that first set, and they want to be decisive. They want to be the ones in charge. We have a statistics I want to show you because that's incredible. Backhand miss from Felix. And the statistic is amazing. We're talking about how good his forehand was, but that he was struggling with his backhand, Felix. Listen, after 11 games, Felix has won only 2 points when he had to play to hit a backhand in a rally. So he hits one backhand, and then he wins only 2 points when he hits a backhand. That's incredible. Why? First, because he misses some, and second, because when he plays his backhand, he gives the opportunity for the opponent to start dictating. That's the thing. And I have a question from our man HD, who's in the chat for the first time, so welcome, first of all. Which player in history do you think had great potential but could never quite get to the elite level? Nick Kyrgios? I don't think you can say that about Nick Kyrgios because he beat all the best players in the world and reached the final of a Grand Slam. So could never quite get to the elite level. I think he was definitely in the elite level. Did he use his full potential? Game-wise, no. For sure not, game-wise. But this is also something that people misunderstand, I think. When we talk about potential, it's not only the game, you know. A lot of guys have great games and great game, and they will never make it even to the top 300 or 200 because it's a lot of things, the potential. First, it's here. Number one, how much you want it, how much, what are you prepared to do for it, how much you trust yourself in your ability to become a top player. You have understanding the game. You have ability to work hard every day. I don't know, I can name 100 parameters. So to say that someone has potential, which in a way it only means he has a great game. Yeah, definitely. A lot of players have a great game, and we can talk about Xavier Malisse also. He was in the elite. He was a top player. I don't know what was his best ranking, but I would say top 20. Let me check. But he had incredible talent, unbelievable talent. So you can think for a guy like him, top 20, not great. What was his best ranking? Yeah, I said top 20, he was 19. So I wasn't far from the reality. But yeah, if you just look at the talent and the game, you think this guy should have been top 5. And while we're talking, Gaël Monfils leads 4-3 Mini break. No, somebody tells me he was 13 in the world. No, he was 19. I said top 20, he was 19. That is in singles. Let's see what Gaël does, because 4-3 for him serving. Let's see if he's able to be as aggressive. And he was not, but Felix missed a backhand cross. First backhand of the rally, and he missed it. Anthony Chocolonely is saying that UTS sounds fun, but I probably have a tournament in Spain in that weekend. Sad. And an ace from Gaël, 6-3. So 3 set points for the French guy. Also, what do you think of the development that the young players have such a high RPM? You can especially see the difference in this match. Do you think that the younger generation have a bigger chance on gravel in comparison to the older legends? I don't understand what it means. A bigger chance on gravel. What does it mean? Please help me. My English. So he insists at telling me that the guy was 13, but on Wikipedia, I'm sorry, he was 19. I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but... because he's talking about Nick Kyrgios. No, I was talking about Xavier Malisse, who was 19 in the world. Yeah. And Nick was 13, yes. So 6-3, 2 serves for Felix. Amazing first serve. Winner. 2 more set points for Gaël Monfils. 1 on the serve of Felix, and it's going to be 1 on his serve if he doesn't make it. It's going to be a second serve. Ay. Oh, beautiful passing shot from Gaël to win that tiebreak. 7-4. No, the ball is out. Oh, it's out. I mean, I say it this way because it would have been an incredible shot. Very, very, very little out, but it's out. But it's gonna. So last set point for Gaël, but this time it's on his serve. Serve to the backhand. Felix missed his backhand. And first set for Gaël Monfils, and that's really a surprise. To answer the question of Cédric Rouquet tennis, I think that Gaël in this first set is extremely close to his best level. I mean, it shows that it's really so much about the excitement of the match. And I think Gaël is able to play the same level as before. It's just probably that at his age is, I don't know how to say that. I think it's difficult to maintain the same motivation in every match. But when he needs to, when he's excited, when he wants to, badly, then he's able to. And I mean, the level he's playing today is amazing. I think that Felix is a little bit more hesitant today, makes more mistakes than usual, and also. But Gaël is super consistent, doesn't miss much. He's very aggressive. He moved the ball around well. He blocks. I mean, tactically, he does exactly what he's supposed to do. But Gaël has always been great tactically, but he has a lot of intention, and that's the big difference. In a lot of his matches this year, he's not really having a lot of intention of play. He's missing much more. He's not really into it the same way as he's into it today. All the games now are difficult for Felix, who was 15-30 already in that first game of the second set. So to answer the questions, first from Liolio3110, Alcaraz can achieve the calendar Grand Slam? Yeah, he can. For sure he can. I think he's something else. What he has achieved at this young age, Novak had not, Rafa had not, Roger had not. So, if he continues not even doing better than he's already done for long enough, he's going to beat the record of all time. And breakpoint for Gaël. Felix chooses the wrong side. And I always say, when you come to the net, if you run around your backhand and if you go inside out, it's super dangerous because you won't be able to cover it down the line. And it's a rally. Oh, what a volley from Felix. Amazing volley. That was a tough one because Gaël had very smartly hit a backhand really in his feet. He hit that volley under the net and he hit an incredible drop volley. Plans to expand your academies in southern Florida. Sure. I mean, US is, it's probably the biggest country in the world for tennis. So we have now several tennis centers and academies in the US. I think 6, if I'm not wrong. And we're looking at all the possibilities to continue to grow in regions that love tennis, and California is one of those. And so for sure, the answer is yes. So Tony Chocolonely was asking why the young players have such high RPM. I think because that's where the game goes, being able to hit the ball very hard, but with a lot of RPM. So RPMs is when the ball is turning a lot, so you're able to produce a lot of spin, and it allows you to hit the ball very hard and still keep the ball in, and pass high over the net. That's why all the players are trying to develop that type of tennis, and the fact that they hit the ball so hard, because their players are more and more athletic. So you're also saying, Tony, that you're not such a big fan of watching in the night, and also you'll be at the court at 10. Oh, okay. Have a good rest. Be ready for your practice, because you have some matches to win. So yes, I call you Tony. Good luck for your tournament in Spain during UTS in Nîmes. And Mumbo, welcome back. How a 39-year-old Monfils beating Felix Auger-Aliassime. Old generation is better. First of all, so a few things. First of all, he didn't win. He won one set. Second of all, I'm always interested in people who make theories out of one match. One match doesn't make a rule. And it's true in life, by the way. Yeah, it's the same. So, no, as I explained, Gaël is an amazing player. He was top 10 for, most of his career. He's just dropped in the rankings because probably he feels it's the end in terms of motivation. You can't keep the same motivation at every match for 20 years. So at some point, you start to drop motivation. But when you play a big match like this, and plus Gaël has always been like this, when you play a big match on a big court against a big player with a big crowd, Gaël is overpumped and his level goes from here to here. He does this all the time. So, no, I understood. Mumbo, I'm answering you. Old generation is definitely not better. And actually, all the players, not all, but a few nobody has said that the old generation was better. In the current players, no one. Actually, they all said that all the ones who have spoken have said the same, that tennis is evolving and that the new generation is better. Again, one match doesn't make a rule. Even though Gaël would win today, wouldn't mean that the old generation is better. Wouldn't mean that. And again, on that match, first of all, Gaël is playing way over his current level today. And Felix is a bit up and down. Even though he's back to top 10 and is playing way better on a regular basis, he still loses some matches he shouldn't lose. So you should look at my post, the last one that I did, because I posted the answers of the players. When you have players like Jan Wawrinka, he's one of those, who played against both generations. He's the one saying that tennis evolves and that the next generation will always be better than the previous ones. That's what he said. When you listen to Zverev, who played against the Rafas, the Rogers, the Novaks, and all the other top 10s for many years, beating a lot of them, by the way, and playing against the current generation, he said the same. Then Fritz, who also played against the previous generation of top 10s, said the same. So people think they know better than the players that themselves that have played against both generations. No problem. People can think what they want to think. I mean, they're totally the right to think what they want, but I would more rely on players who have experienced that, playing with both, against both generations, and have their insights and an opinion, than people who are out of the tour for a long time, for some of them not even watch a lot of tennis, and sometimes are a bit bitter. So yeah, no problem. You can bring it up for discussion, Aimumbo. I'm just saying, players who have been at the top, like Novak is the greatest of all time. So for him on one match to be able to bring his best and beat Yannick Sinner doesn't mean that Sinner is not as good as the previous generation. Just means that Novak is the greatest, and on one match, of course, he can beat anyone still because he's special. Now we look at Felix against Gaël. I don't think even Gaël playing his best would beat the Felix at his best. I don't think so. But Gaël is playing his best today. Felix is not. So on one match, yes, it can happen. Of course, it can happen. You can also look at how many matches against players that were low ranked did, I don't know, Del Potro lose. I don't want to name all the guys who were top 10 at that time, but many. Also, it happens. This is tennis. Otherwise, would be super boring. If the guy who's the best is winning all the time, there is never a surprise, it would be boring. You're tough with Felix saying he rarely plays at his best. I showed his result. He played the semifinal of the US Open, last US Open. It's not too bad. Let me go back to the results. So Felix, end of 2025. So semis in New York, beating Zverev, Rublev, de Minaur. And then won Brussels. Okay, he beat good players, but not top ones. Then final in Paris. I'm talking about the last month, and he beat Bublik, who's top 10 now, lost to Sinner. And he beat again Zverev in Turin, beat Shelton in Turin. And then this year, this is 2024. This year, won Montpellier, final in Rotterdam, beating Bublik again. So, yeah, he can play. He's top 10 in the world, not by chance. But what is true is he can also lose to guys sometimes. It's a bit surprising, and he has great periods of time and not so great ones. 2-2 in that second set, no break. On the other match, Tiafoe is up 5-3 against Brooksby. I'm going to have a look also at Coco, what she's doing. Oh, she's down 5-4 in the second, and Rakimova is serving for the second set. Rakimova is a qualifier. And we have a statistic to watch for the first set between Monfils and Felix Auger-Aliassime. As I said, Felix is not playing a great match. Gaël is playing amazing, playing at his best. But so far, thank you, Aimumbo. I'm happy you liked my book. Okay, first set. So Felix Auger-Aliassime, 9 unforced errors, 6 winners, and 0 backhand winner. And Gaël, only 4 unforced errors, 0 backhand unforced errors, and 7 winners. Yeah, I think the other stat that you produced saying that every time, no, it was not every time, but that when, I have it here, when Felix was hitting a backhand, he won only 2 points after 11 games. Every time he hit a backhand, he won only 2 points. That's quite striking. Hi, Kevin Court. It's been a long time. Too long, huh? I agree with you. But I'll be here every day with you for Indian Wells, so we'll have other opportunities to discuss together. Gaël is doing great, especially with his backhand down the line. He's creating a lot of insecurity for Felix, who's loving so much to run around the backhand, but it's difficult to do it when your opponent is hurting you with his backhand down the line so much. 40-30 for Felix on his serve. There is not one service game won easily today, and that's a high pressure on Felix. Very good point, finished at the net for Felix. He had a strange reaction to his box. I don't know what he said, but he looked angry. Kevon, we'll see each other a lot in the next 10 days, I can tell you, because I'll be here for this amazing tournament. 5-4 Tiafoe serving for the first set. Shalanix, welcome on the chat. You're here for the first time also, asking me if I think Zverev will still win a Grand Slam. Well, listen, I think, first of all, it's a possibility because he's top 4 and he's usually always top 3 for quite a while. Number 3 or number 4. Depends how much Novak plays. But I would say his level is number 4 because definitely Sinner, Alcaraz are better and Novak is better too. So he's number 4. When he's number 3 is because Novak is not interested in the other tournaments so much. He plays only the Grand Slams, but that's his level. When you're number 4 in the world and you keep believing and you keep working hard and you keep trying to improve, you will always have a chance at some point. Another way to ask the question is, will Zverev be one day better than Alcaraz and Sinner? I don't believe. I can be wrong, but I don't believe it. But can he win a Grand Slam? Yes, because there will be an opportunity. He's had a few in the past. He had one against Dominic Thiem in a Grand Slam final. He had one against Carlos Alcaraz. He was 2-1 up against Alcaraz also. And he didn't take his chance. So he'll probably have 1 or 2 more in the next years before he stops his career. The question is, will he be able to take this chance? Or will it be another player who's going to take this chance rather than him? That's the question. And this I cannot answer. But can he? Yes, he can. Seeing this question from iMumbo about the balls, well, I think it's a positive thing because, it was a very slow tournament. The play was very slow, and a lot of players were complaining about it. And since the tournament decided to switch to Dunlop, the players are saying that the play is faster. So in a way, it's better tennis played. It's less exhausting for the players, so less risk of injury. So I think it's a good thing. It's potentially a turning moment now because Felix has a break point and he does it in a good way, being super aggressive with his forehand. I don't know if Fritz said that it's more difficult to hit a winner with the Dunlop ball, but what I can tell you is the speed of the game has been measured and it's faster. It's way faster than the previous years this year. So it should be the opposite. It should be easier to hit a winner. Break, Felix, very good reaction. You could see that he really wanted it, the way that he really took his chance. He made an extra effort to really hit the ball hard. Yeah, go with the science, but always better. And Kevin Court, yes, the contest, yes, we on my Instagram page we gave the names of the winners. Shalanix, you're welcome. You just found out about the stream, my stream on Twitch. Thank you very much for following. I don't know where you live, but if it's the middle of the night, you're probably in Europe like me. It's 1:30 a.m. And if you can come back a few times, it's gonna be fun. Okay, we have a video to show you.
Generation.
I think there's a big nostalgia factor to it. I also beat top 10 players when I was 20 years old, so it's that was 8 years ago, and I know that I'm way better than I was then. So I don't think there's a discrepancy in level.
That's why I say maybe I would not want to talk about tennis, because I don't want to be this guy that finishes his career and then goes like, yeah, these guys, they don't know how to play anymore. When I was there was Auger-Aliassime, and these guys now, they're just amateurs. So I hope I'm not going to be like this. And if I am, I'm not going to give interviews.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's exactly what I meant. My points were what? Tennis is evolving. Next generation is always stronger than the previous ones because tennis is evolving. It's not to diminish the previous generation. It's just to witness a fact in the history of our sport. And the second idea is that people who react badly or aggressively, they're just being very nostalgic, which I understand. And for some, maybe a little bit bitter. If new generation are better than the previous ones, it's because the previous ones established a standard and the new generation is developing based on this standard to try to push it further. And that's what's happening all the time. I just meant that tennis is evolving, and that's throughout the history of our sport. It's constantly progressing, and the new generations are always better. We didn't hear Stan, but yeah, he said that the previous generation, the new generation, sorry, is better than the previous one. And we didn't hear Zverev either, who said the same, that he played against the last generation and he sees the difference. 5-2 for Felix. So the match really, in a few seconds, changed completely. And now Felix is playing amazing. I don't know what the old generation would say, but you know, when you are the old generation, you want to feel that you are better than the new one. It's more interesting to have people who are from the old generation, like Zverev, who was, I cannot say he's from the old, but he was on both. Or Stan, who made most of his career on the previous generation, because they know they were there and they're still there, so they can compare. The old generation, they're not here anymore, so they don't play against those guys, so it's difficult to say just watching. But if you want to have an idea, look at the Grand Slam finals of the previous generation and look at Auger-Aliassime's finals, and you'll see that how faster they play now. That's really impressive, I think. And I'm not even talking about even older generations with court that were way faster. They still, Alcaraz and Sinner are still playing way faster than them. So Felix is playing much better in that second set, but still misses a lot of backhands. Gaël is really dominated now because I feel that Felix is playing way faster. Takes the ball early with a forehand, hits the ball flatter, which I think it's a smart thing to do today. And set point, that would be a double break if he makes it in that set. He rushed a little bit on that last forehand. 6-4 Tiafoe in this match against two Americans. And Tiafoe, who broke in the first game of that second set already. Deuce again. Advantage Monfils. Great backhand down the line. Amazing to come back. She saved a break a set point, and is back 3-5 in that second set. So Felix is gonna serve now for winning the second set. Let's see if he's able to pass a few first serves, and how he deals on second. Is he gonna be able to dictate, or is he gonna let Gaël be the one? But first, no first serve in that first point. Second serve, it's gonna probably kick on the backhand of Gaël. Double fault. Not a good start. Love 15. Oh la la, that's a very bad miss from him, because he did really the most difficult. Very good serve, forehand inside out. Gaël is very far from the baseline. He comes to the net to finish up the point, and he has a volley that is over the net. Not that difficult, that he misses completely. Love 30. Wow. No first serve. Huge second. And a backhand missed by Gaël in return. He didn't expect, I think, that second serve to come that fast. Kevin, have a good night. Thank you for staying with us. And see you tomorrow. And I'm going to answer Ali 1111 after this game. It's a huge game. Yeah, too short the return from Gaël after a good first serve. And Felix hits the line with his forehand. Off topic, but do you think Tsitsipas needs more technical adjustments right now, or is it mostly about confidence? No, I think it's about confidence. And as he said, now he's not seated anymore. So he's playing sometimes the top guys in the first round. So, and a set point for Felix. You know how it is. Sometimes it's a virtuous cycle, and sometimes it's a vicious cycle. Because the more you lose, the less you have confidence, and the less confidence, the more you lose. And actually, yes, you're right, Aimombo. Shapovalov played amazing against him. But again, that's also part of the vicious cycle, because when your ranking drops and you're losing way more than before, players are not scared about you anymore. You are not good on the big points, on the big moments. You're not hitting the ball as well because you're nervous. You hesitate more. That makes you make more enforced errors, etc., etc. Done. One set all between Gaël and Felix. I feel that when Felix is confident, is hitting his backhand way better. When he's not, he misses so much with his backhand, or he plays zones that are not great, so he can dictate. And again, he's passed coming to the net, but he went to the net cross, which is always a very dangerous option. Mumbo, what if the ATP Tour had a soundtrack like the F1 theme by Brian Tyler? Would be a good idea. I mean, we've done it with UTS, so I think it's a great idea. But more generally speaking, to modernize the ATP would be a great idea. The transformation that Formula One has made has been really impressive. Really impressive. They did such a great job, and I think, tennis can be inspired by it. And that's what we did with UTS. So I don't know if you've seen the UTS once, but if you haven't, you definitely have to. It's such a modern way to showcase tennis. It's, to me, it's the future of this game. 1-0, Monfils. Yeah, you've seen only highlights. Yeah, but you have to go. You can watch on TV. It's broadcasted in more than 60 countries. Otherwise, we have an app. You can watch it on the app. But to see it live is really something. The experience is... And that's why every year we fill up bigger stadiums, because people come and they like the experience so much that the next year they come back, but they've told a lot of friends to come too. And those lots of friends, the year after, each of them tells friends. And so every year the stadiums are bigger. We started with maybe 3,000 seats stadiums. Now we fill up 12,000 seats. So every time. So not everywhere, but in the cities where we've been already, the next year we always fill up way bigger stadiums. And what I love is that the people who come to watch, we have a lot of young people. And even for kids, it's amazing because they're allowed to move, they're allowed to shout anytime. It's so difficult for kids to be told, stay here for 3 hours or more, and don't move, don't say a word. For kids, that's the most difficult thing to do. Felix on serve, 1-0 down. We have a statistic for the second set. And confirmation with the figures of what I was telling you. I feel that Felix is hitting flatter, so way faster in that second set. And it's confirmed. So he dropped his RPMs by 300 on both forehands and backhands. So started to play, so his ball travels faster. And it takes time away from Gaël, which made him struggle more in that second set. So he probably has a solution there. Let's see if he's able to keep it until the end of the match. And if it's going to still work, or is Gaël going to find a solution? Again, plays fast enough so Gaël cannot do anything with the ball. You played a kid yesterday, 12 years old. He hit 50% underarm serves. It was so hard to maintain rhythm. It is, huh? Yeah, I know. It's very difficult. Sounds like it's an easy ball, but I mean, we're not used to it. That's also makes it difficult. And it's nothing more difficult than to play against guys who give you balls with no consistency, no power in the ball, no spin. Difficult. You have to really lean on the ball a lot in order to keep the control of it. Very good game from Felix. Again, playing fast, close to the line. When the ball came to his backhand, he went down the line straight away rather than trying to play the rally. Good job. 1-1 in that third set. And so far, now that the game goes faster because Felix hits the ball with less spin, it's more difficult for Gaël. Love 30. So tomorrow, we just I just received the order of play for tomorrow, and at the same time as today, I mean around the same time, we'll have the Dimitrov against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Oh, sorry. Dimitrov Alcaraz. So I'm sure I'll be there for this match. And 3 break points in a row now for Felix. No, not they are. Felix is changing how much spin he's hitting the ball with. He started to change in the second set, and that's why he won it. That's one of the reasons. Because by doing so, he accelerates the game. And break without Gaël winning a single point in his service game. That's a big advantage now for Felix. And 4-1, 1-2 and 4-1 for Francis Tiafoe against Brooksby. And I didn't tell you, but Coco Gauff won her match. Even though her opponent was serving for the second set, she won in 2 sets. And speaking about my favorite, to answer you, Aimum, to win that tournament, it has to be Carlos Alcaraz. So far, since the start of the season, there is one guy that is above the rest of the players. So of course he's not going to win all the tournaments. I mean, this never happened, so I guess it will not. But he's played 2 tournaments this year and he's won both: the Australian Open and Doha 500. So yeah, he's for the moment he's better. Yeah. Checking the draw of Sinner. I think he has a very good draw. He would play Mensik in the, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4th round if Mensik wins his matches, which is not sure because he will have to beat a few good guys. That would be potentially the revenge of the match of Doha between those two. And it's interesting this what I was saying about the speed of the balls of Felix, who started to add less spin, so play a little bit flatter. And as he was playing flatter, hitting the ball the same way, his ball traveled faster. And we saw that since he's done that, the match is different. What is interesting, when you play against a guy, I mean, I think everyone is good at a certain speed. When you have a certain level, at a certain speed, you play great. If the speed goes just a little faster, you don't play as great. If it's a bit faster, you start to not being able to play, to handle it. And I think one of the great things that Alcaraz and Sinner are doing is playing at an incredibly fast pace, at which almost nobody can handle. Maybe Novak can handle it, and not always, because people love to make theories after one match because Novak beat Sinner, so of course the guy is 38 and is beating Sinner, means Sinner, Alcaraz are not as good as those guys. No, it's one match. Novak lost 5 matches in a row against Sinner before winning one. Sinner is not going to win all the time, all the matches against everyone, and sometimes he will lose because he's human. 40-30 on Felix's serve. Serving to confirm his break. That's a good serve. And boom. Yes, 3-1. Very good shot after a great serve. Mumbo. So you play better against players that give pace. That's the case for most of the people. It's always difficult to play against players who play slow, low, high. And in your case, you don't like low balls. I don't know how much spin you're putting on the ball, but you should put a lot of spin on those ones because you need to. It's harder to pass over the net. More spin, more margin over the net, and you're not going to miss those ones. And how is the serve of Gaël? Set 1, 74% of first. Oh, 72%. Set 2, 73. Set 3, 83% of first serves, and he got broken. He got broken on both second and third set. Now, what did change drastically is Gaël's percentage of points won after his first serve, because in the first set he was winning 85 on his first serve, in the second only 64, and in the third only 60%. And on second set he went back to, he won 90% of points on his second serve in the first set, and only 50 in the second, which is more normal. That was not normal in the first set. I think it means mostly, Aimumbo, that Gaël is that Felix is better in the rally, because the fact that Gaël was winning 90% of points after his second serve means that whenever Felix doesn't have an advantage with the serve, and they play, because the second serve is almost 50-50 in general, the fact that Gaël was winning 90% of the points was showing that, except when Felix had the advantage with his own serve, when it was 50-50, he was losing most of the points from the baseline. And I think the adjustment of, less spin, more pace in the second and the start of the third made a difference for him to win many more points from the baseline. Good serve again from Gaël, who saved his service game because he was at 30 old, so there was danger, but he saved it. But he still has a break. He's still a breakdown. So we're gonna have a look at women, because they're playing. There are only 2 men's match at the moment. This one and Brooks beat Tiafoe. And not so many. There are a lot of doubles also. But I can give you some results. The young Canadian girl who's so good, Victoria Mboko, won also against Birel, 2 sets today. Raducanu won. Sabalenka, Towson, who beat Putintseva, and Sierra beat Stearns. Kalinskaya beat Sonmez. Kokogov beat Rakimova, and Sirstia beat Schneider. And the match between Potapova and Paolini is 4-3 up, but no break in the third. And Jacqueline Christian, who lost 6-0 the first set, won the second 6-2, and they're at 5-all in the third. Now Gaël is ready to return Felix, who needs once again to confirm his break. Thank you, Ali 1111. Does having only one serve in UTS change the mental pressure on players a lot? Yes, it does. But first of all, and that was the point, there are many more rallies. One of the problems of tennis is that the players are always taller, and the average size of the player is way higher than the previous generation. And the guys serve better and better, so there are too many aces, serve winners, or serve and forehand winner. Not really rallies, and I think that's what's cool in tennis, is the rallies. So by taking away the first serve, we increase the chances of rallies every time, and there are many more rallies, and that's really cool. I think it's great. And you're right, the players don't have the pressure of winning their points when they serve, because, on a second serve, as I said, it's basically 50-50 the chances to win the point. What is interesting at UTS is that as they have only one serve, they need to find the best possible second serve, which is a shot that should have enough security so they don't miss it, otherwise they lose the point. But at the same time, give us an edge. So it has to be strong enough. So this is what they are trying to find constantly at UTS. 40 love for Felix. Actually, I'm wondering if he got broken or not in that match. No, he was not broken once. He had only 2 break points to save in the whole match. And once again, he wins his serve. 4-2 Auger-Aliassime in that third set. I feel that Gaël is really on the edge. He will definitely need his first serve in that game. Second serve again. Kick on the backhand of Felix, and Felix didn't really take advantage. Actually, the opposite. He got in trouble straight away after his return. What inspired me to write my book? Well, I thought at some point what I learned working with a lot of the best players in the world, some of the greatest champions of all times, Serena, of course, but I also worked with Simona Halep or Naomi Osaka. I worked with Coco, Stefanos. And all the lessons are so useful not only for tennis, but also for life in general. So I thought it would be amazing to share that with the people. Yeah, he's struggling. Felix is struggling because Gaël is really able to block him on the backhand. Again, not when Felix hits the first serve. Whenever he hits the backhand once, then he can keep torturing the backhand and use every time Felix is playing a bit shorter, use it to go down the line and hurt him. Ali, oh, you're coming to Nîmes? That's amazing. You're coming? You should. Trust me, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to go to the UTS event. And the one in Nîmes is really special. Tiafoe just beat Brooksby 6-4, 6-2. It's never easy to play against Brooksby, so it's a good performance from Francis. Of course, he was the favorite, but again, it's never easy. And Francis Tiafoe will play Koboli in the second round, who won against Kekmanovic. 6-4 in the third after losing the first set. We're going to have Shelton against Tien. That's a good one too. Shelton, Tien. Amazing. Shelton, Tien, Tiafoe, Koboli, Fuxovic, one. That's a surprising one, really. Shocking one. Great. See you there, Ali. See you in Nîmes. I'll be there. Of course, I'll be there. So, what else do we have today? We have Sinner, who's going to play his first match against Sina. I don't know how to pronounce it. What else do we have? Naomi Osaka, who's going to play against Jimenez Kasintseva. Echeverry Shapovalov. We have Mensik, who's going to play against Giron. Tough one. Giron in the US. It's going to be dangerous. And no, that's basically it. Where is Arthur Fils? Yeah. Felix is playing really faster now. Way faster. And he's playing amazing, by the way. That was a great rally. Great rally. Oof. Backhand and forehand. Great spot. What a rally. Oh. And Felix ends up missing his forehand down the line. And an ace from Felix. Wow. It was a big point at 30 all to be able to hit an ace now. Strong. Point for 5-3. Very important again. Oh, wow. What a zone. Unbelievable, the zone with the serve. 2 great serves. And 5-3 for the Canadian. Felix, who got married last year. Yeah, I'm checking who's his wife because I think she was the one that they just showed on TV watching the match. Yeah, that's her. So she's following him on tour, which is great because it's for most of the players it's a great emotional support that helps them a lot. For the love, great service game from Gaël again, and an ace again. Wow, what a service game! But it's difficult to be consistent on matches like this when you don't have the confidence coming from all the matches that you've won so far, because Gaël hasn't won many this year, very few. So it's difficult to be consistent. So his high level is very high, but he has some low moments, and on the low moments, it's too low. He got broken to love, So that's also one of the difference. Felix has won way more matches this year than Gaël. And the match between Shapovalov and Etcheverry is going to start. Etcheverry, who won a tournament on clay. Was it Rio? I think it was Rio, yes. Not so long ago, a few weeks ago. So he comes to this tournament with a lot of confidence, even though he's a better clay court player. Yeah, he won Rio, yeah. He won a lot of matches this year. 11 already. Semi-finals in Buenos Aires on clay, winner in Rio. That will count also today. Even though for a clay court player to play Shapovalov is not an easy task, because the Canadian is playing crazy fast. If he plays as fast as how he played against Stefanos, it's going to be difficult. Yes, a lot of guys are eating energy gels. It's a boost, and they take it when they think, okay, that's the moment. I need full energy, full focus. I take it. The problem with this one is that it gives you the boost, but after, you pay the price. That's a crazy first rally. Wow. Very solid Felix Auger-Aliassime, because Gaël defended incredibly well, hitting the ball hard in defense and super deep. And even though Felix didn't crack and he kept on playing with a lot of power too, right, left, until Gaël ended up missing. That was a crazy rally. What a return from Gaël. Oh, no. What a point. The return is insane, and then he has to play a ball that is quite close to the net and crazy low. And the way he re-accelerates that ball to hit a winner, Gaël, unbelievable. Now the great serve from Felix, slice out wide, and Gaël cannot control the ball. Funny one, Ali. Yeah, you're right. Sabalenka finally got a ring. Oh, what a serve again from Felix. Wrong side. Ooh. He almost twisted his ankle on this one, but that's the thing, he hits a great serve. He's running around the backhand. He's really far to the side, and then he decides to go inside in. And the problem with the inside in is that your deuce side is completely open. So if it's not a winner, then you're in trouble. It's always better to start inside out. You go inside in really when, you did the work inside out. The opponent is really far out of the court, then it opens the inside in. And that's a match point now for Felix Auger-Aliassime after a very good serve and a forehand down the line. Slice out wide, boom, forehand down the line. Done after another good forehand from Felix. 6-4 in the third for the Canadian. That was a very good match. The level was super high, and it was very interesting. Also, with this tactical change from Felix, which made a big difference. Can Felix play better? For sure. Will he have to play better next round? For sure. If he wants to beat Rublev, he will have no more option, because Rublev is going to play fast as well, hitting the balls really hard on both sides. Where shall Felix make progress? Mostly with, I would say, his backhand. He has to find a way to hurt more with the backhand and be more consistent at the same time. But the first round it's always difficult for everyone, and even more when you play someone like Felix Auger-Aliassime. When you play someone like Gaël Monfils, who is always dangerous. He's always dangerous. You respect him, and Gaël really started the match really strongly. So that explains also probably why Felix was not able to play his best level, but the reaction was great, and the victory is well deserved. Well, it's time for me to go to sleep. I wish you, for those who keep watching, enjoy the rest of the day. For those who are in Europe like me, I wish you a good night, and I see you tomorrow for the match between Grigor Dimitrov and Carlos Alcaraz. Good night.